Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your friend Isaac from Big Bike BMX, and today we're going to talk about upgrading your stock or your brand new to you big BMX bike and making it feel comfortable for us as older folks. There's a couple things we can do to add performance to these bikes and make them a lot more comfortable and feel a lot more like our 80s bikes that we all grew up with and make it a lot more fun when just cruising around with your buddy. So, hey, sit back, relax. We're going to talk about handlebars. We're going to talk about hubs. We're going to talk about cranks, bottom brackets, all of it. So, grab some ibuprofen, grab your ice packs, have a seat on the couch, and let's watch this.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Big Bike BMX. Today we are going to recreate probably one of my most popular videos and one that definitely needs to be updated. You just got a big BMX bike. What do you need to upgrade, if anything? Let's talk about it. All right, so you just got home from getting your first big BMX bike. Maybe you got it used, maybe you got it brand new out of a box, but you feel some pressure because you want to make the bike your own. You want to make it your own style, your own flavor, whatever it would be. From the dawn of time, we've always wanted to upgrade our BMX bikes. I remember coveting a DK stem when I was a kid. I thought that would be the coolest thing in the world. Tough wheels, same thing. Something we do, right? I get it. And so when you get your first BMX bike and you're an older guy and maybe you haven't got a BMX bike since the 80s or mid-school, there's a lot of new brands, a lot of new parts, and a lot of new functionality from these BMX bikes that we're going to talk about today. It's a lot different than just Freewheels and coaster brakes and grabbing some redline flights. So when you look at your BMX bike, I'm going to always recommend you start with the 3 spots where you actually interface with your bikes. Your grips up here, your pedals, and your seat. These are going to be the ways that you determine, hey, this bike is really comfortable or this bike is not very comfortable or it feels weird. Get yourself a saddle or a seat that is comfortable to you. This is the Carrera RS from Supercross Speedline. It is a Kevlar and leather seat. In the middle, it has a cutout, so it is spongy in the middle, but it's covered by foam so you don't see it, but that gives you a lot of pressure and relief when you're riding wheelies or just riding around town. It's durable because of the leather and the Kevlar. And in the back, the rails are chromoly, and so they are going to last a lot longer than just an aluminum railed seat. So that is the seat that I choose. A lot of people like the Brooks saddles or seats that are fully leather. I slide around too much on them doing wheelies. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't think they look very BMX-like, but a lot of show bikes will include the Brooks leather seats. People swear by them. They say they're the most comfortable thing after you broke them in. I rode one for about 6 months, and I still did not think it is more comfortable than this. The minute I got this, I put it on, and this is better. So, just my opinion, get yourself a seat that's comfortable. Next, pedals. These Evil Alloy flat pedals spin for days. The bearings that they use are phenomenal. They are a wide pedal, and they are a big platform thick pedal that just seems to fit my feet really well. I can come back from a wheelie doing a 1-footer, no-footer, land kind of funny on the pedal and still have control. So I opt for a big, beefy pedal, and it spins for days, very easy, very comfortable, feels good when you're pedaling just down the street. So Evil Alloy pedals for me, but any big wide pedal is gonna be great. Next, we're going to talk about grips. These are the Amy Pro Tri grips, the lock-ons. Why I like these more than anything else is they are 1.3 millimeter, the diameter. They're 1.3s instead of the typical 1.1 that most BMX bikes have. So it's thicker, and my forearm doesn't get as wore out doing wheelies and feathering brakes because my hand isn't gripping real tight. It's open more, so I can ride wheelies longer. So a soft, grippy grip is always going to be what I recommend there. These are the Amy Pro Tri lock-ons in purple. So the next thing that people really get thrown off by in the modern age are wheels and hubs. Now, your big bike that you get off of a catalog bike likely will have just a regular loose ball bearing system and a Freewheel, something like that. Those are fine. They are better than what you had in the 80s. ride it until it doesn't ride anymore. That's my biggest suggestion. Don't worry about upgrading anything until you've ridden it and see what you feel is true about your riding style. So don't take it from me just because I'm telling you that these loose ball stock wheels can be upgraded. They are going to be fine. They're going to last you 100 years if you do maintenance on them and pedal just fine. Now, if you want to do the first upgrade, I would recommend getting a different freewheel. That's the first place you can really upgrade your bike. If you have a stock freewheel, get one with a little bit more engagement. Rideout Supply, I think, makes the best aftermarket freewheel. A lot of people will tell you go with the more expensive Profile, or even the more expensive than that, White Industries. You will hear people telling you need to get those. A lot of people feel that way because they're more expensive and it's a little bit more of a flex for them, but they're not really taking advantage of the extra engagement and everything that comes with those. They just buy it because it's more expensive and it's more of a flex. I don't know anyone on a big bike that's doing trials riding, and yet everybody says you have to have a white freewheel. Those are really made for high-end trials riding, but cool. Absolutely, if you would like to spend that $200 on a freewheel instead of the $40 to have a loud sound and high engagement, it's your money, do what you want with it. But if you're just going for performance, this whole video is about getting the best performance for an older guy. So go ahead and grab a Rideout Supply freewheel. It has very good engagement with the least amount of drag, and it's loud. You'll get the same benefit as a Profile freewheel at about a third of the cost. The next step in the evolution of the hubs in the back would be the cassette hub. So what you would have is everything like this is a cassette hub. All of the internals that you would normally find in a freewheel are inside of this hub here. Internal cassette hubs are fantastic. All of the innards are how that is controlled, so it's a little bit better. You get a really loud sound. I recommend one of two high-end hubs. I run the Supercross Speedline Killer Buzz hub. Has a great sound. This is a worm drive system instead of a pawl system that you would find in a Profile hub. Profile also makes a great elite upscaled hub that are fantastic. The Profile Elite hubs are phenomenal. It's really pick or choose. I prefer these because this is who I'm sponsored by, and I like the worm drive, honestly. It's just a little bit louder than a Profile. The limitations are the colors that you can get on Profile are vastly bigger and wider than you can get with a Speedline Killer Buzz. So they do have regular and disc, so those are both available depending on what you're running. I have a 26-inch Supercross, so I have no disc, but on my 29-inch, that Supercross SX250 has a disc brake, so I do have the disc version of that. I do not know any disc brake hubs that are freewheel. They're all going to be internal cassette hubs, so that's everything that I've seen there. So there you go. On the rear hubs, those are the options. Stick with what you have until it wears out, and then decide if you just want to upgrade the bearings and the freewheel, or if you want to upgrade your entire wheel to a cassette hub. I recommend you do that if you wear them out and you do a lot of riding. The maintenance on these are super easy. You pop out the worm drive, grease it, pop it back in, super easy. So that's the end. That's the rear end. All right, so I understand that's a bit of a crazy explanation of freewheel, internal cassette hub, and what does that look like. So let's pause for a moment. We're back in my garage. This is what I'm talking about. This is a stock hub with a stock freewheel, and you can hear that's what it sounds like. And you have to rotate a while before you hear a click. Okay, so that's a standard freewheel. This will be just fine for you. And when we talk about engagement and high engagement, it's how far you have to rotate the freewheel before you hear a click going backwards, like so. So this is a stock freewheel. This is a Rideout Supply freewheel, and you can hear the difference here. So if it sits, you can hear how much louder that is than that is. So Rideout Supply, and you can see barely move, click, click, click. Very slight movements to make this pop and grab the next hole. So Inside of here are springs. There's 4 of them that point out to a jigsaw type pattern, and it rolls over, they bend up, and then each time they clear one of those clicks or those rivets, divots, they make a click. So this is a ride out supply. This one, I think they are $40 to $50, and high engagement, low drag compared to the other ones that are in this market, like an ACS Black Cat or a Hornet. So there you go. These are easy to install, super loud, and will be a better upgrade than this because you will get more engagement and it's a bit louder. So super easy to do. You just pop this out. I have a video on how to do this. You use a tool to unscrew this, screw the new one on, you're ready to go. This is a profile elite hub. So the difference here, all of the internal zigzag springs that are inside of here are actually inside of the hub, so it's internal. And I mean, it is, each one of these noises is like this. It's one of these clicks. So you can kind of hear this thing has amazing engagement, super loud. And inside of here is, inside the hub is where all this happens. So this is a profile elite hub, and that's what that sounds like. Here's another version. This one actually has the disc brake for the rear, and you have that engagement. These also tend to have the old axle that goes all the way through the hub, and you just have a nut that screws on the top. And sometimes these are sealed bearings. These are sealed bearings on here. Sometimes they are loose ball. Here though, you have bolts that actually screw thread into the hub like this. So that's nice, because if you bend an axle on here, you have to buy the whole axle. You bend one of these, you go to Ace Hardware, you can buy a new one, a stronger one, and you're back in action. So a lot of big tech upgrades when you move to a cassette hub. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps you understand the difference that I'm trying to explain there on what is a internal hub, the cassette or the Freewheel style. It'll just look like this. You'll thread the Freewheel onto this side, but it's just a thread that threads on, it locks, and you're off to the races.
So when everybody gets these hubs, they're like, okay, makes a lot of noise. First thing they do is they pull their hub apart, and they're a little bit confused. They're like, wait a minute, how does that actually drive the hub? They can't figure out how that simple assembly, that simple disassembly, how that actually makes their bike run. Compared to a silent hub like an Onyx, where they have a sprag and pawl, where you have all those sprags dragging around, this is an amazing hub mechanism. The Onyx are our other favorite hubs around here. Those things, they're smooth, they're quick engaging. The only reason we came up with the Killer Bee hub was to have a more economical and a hub with less drag alternative. So with the Killer Bee hub, it's based off of a limited slip diff type of situation. So what you have here is you have a ring that goes around. As it's driving, you're actually engaging 72 teeth all at once. When it's backed off, the springs back off and it gives. As soon as you drive forward on it, all these springs, this whole spring pack locks all 72 teeth all at once in place. So you have positive engagement to drive that hub forward. The whole drive mechanism is locked into the shell. You have a very beefy 1/4 inch wall on the shell. So the shell has a lot of room to hold everything in place. The maintenance is very simple. Pull it off, clean it out, give it a light lube, away you go. The spring pack, the hardened chromoly ring, that's gonna last you indefinitely. It's caged away, so you don't ever have to worry about it. It's super simple. There's very limited drag on it. When it's coasting, it'll just keep coasting and coasting. So this has been a great alternative to a traditional pawl and ratchet. That pawl and ratchet has 3 pawls, 4 pawls typically engaging. This has 72 teeth engaging every single time you go forward.
Next up, we'll talk about chains. Chains are something that people like to upgrade all the time. This is a Shadow half link. I go with the copper and black because I live in Arizona, the copper state, and so it's just a fun nod to that. I'm not a big chain nerd like a lot of people are. I just get this one because it's copper and black, and I've never had one wear out or have any issues with it. They're easy to clean, but this is a half link chain. This one is just a looks. This is a looks thing for me. Has no better performance than a basic chain for me. Moving forward here, the cranks. The cranks are something that I love. I got these for Father's Day, and these are the Profile Elite AL cranks. I love these cranks so much because they are light. They are very easy to swap out. The system that they use to tighten and adjust is fantastic. It's got a 30 millimeter internal axle, so it's nice and stiff and strong. This to me was worth it. They were about $650, but still worth it because I will use these cranks probably forever. Most of the time when I get a new bike, I just swap all the parts off of the frame onto a new frame. And so these cranks have been with me with 2 frames so far. And I love them. They're easy to maintain. They stay tight, and they are light, and they don't flex a whole lot. So you can go with really whatever you have. Odds are your bike, if it's like a stock SE or something like that, came with some stock 3-piece cranks. And those are better than, they're the equivalent of your Redline Flight cranks in the 80s. Absolutely phenomenal cranks. You will not have a problem with it. A lot of people will tell you, you got to upgrade the bottom bracket right away. Most of the time that is incorrect. 99.9% of the time, people will hear a noise coming from this part of their bike, and it's because their chain is too tight. If you loosen up your chain, it's not a problem. If you take your chain off and you just spin your cranks and they spin real nice, they don't have any grinding sounds, but the minute you put a chain on, it's your chain. So take a look at that. Your bottom bracket is probably just fine. But again, with the Euro bottom bracket, it's easy to upgrade. They're about $30 for a better bottom bracket. They run all the way up to hundreds if you go with the profiles or the Bassett Technique profile bottom brackets. But get the one that is best for you. I prefer Euro because you can thread them in. You don't have to bang anything or press anything. Euro is the easier way to do these. They just thread into the bottom bracket instead of the old school hammering with a piece of wood to get your bearings in and then screwdriver pounding them out. Those days are long gone unless you're building some old retro. But these ones screw in, very easy to maintain, very easy to keep clean, and keep your bike nice and quiet because you can grease everything. So that's that. We've moved up this way. I recommend you get a quick release when you're first starting out, especially if you're just getting back into bikes. Get yourself a quick release seat post clamp because you don't know what size, what height seat you want to run, and so this makes it easier than getting out an Allen key to adjust your seat until you figure out what feels best for you. This is just a ease of use thing. I believe this is a Ride Out Supply quick release seat post clamp. All right, so we're going to move towards the front of the bike now. We're going to start up here. Handlebars. Handlebars are something I am addicted to changing, and I don't know why. I love handlebars. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to try the Dyno pretzel bars and the Peregrine Q bars and the Haro knee saver bars and the Skyway easy bars. I had them all, man. I loved them. And remember the CW with the straight across the top, those walled CW ones? Loved them. So handlebars are a big thing for me. I know at this point in my life, 8-inch bars with 28-inch wide, with the width of 28 and the height is 8-inch. That's going to make me the happiest out of anything. So these are the Supercross. I'm running the 4130 chromoly handlebars. These are the flatline race bars. Love them. It's the same exact shape and bend as their carbon fiber bars that I run on my 29. Absolutely love these. On the brakes, on this side, on the back, this is the Evil Alloy Pro 1. I've been testing this for a while. I love this lever. It's a short lever. It's a 2-finger, maybe 1 finger. Very easy, very stiff, and very thick and bulky. On the front wheel, I've got the Speedline Elite brake lever. This one is also very, very easy to adjust. There's lots of ways to adjust forwards and backwards, so you can adjust where the brake lever hits. This one has more adjustability, I believe, than this one. Can't really decide which one is my favorite. They both have their pros and cons. I do prefer a longer lever, so I wish this was just a little bit longer. I would tell you that's probably the biggest change there. And brake cables, I don't really have an opinion on them. I like my brakes to be a little spongy. So linear brake cables are what people love and they think they're the greatest. I walk into a bike shop and say, give me a brake cable. And if they have the color I want, great. If not, then it's whatever. I don't have an opinion on brake levers or brake cables. Now,
Next up, I didn't cover this in huge detail at the park. However, when you look at your stems, there are different stem sizes. So these are all threadless 1 1/8, meaning this will fit the threaded or threadless 1 1/8 fork. But notice where the front of each stem stops. The longer these are, the farther your handlebars are going to be in front of you. This is a GT. This is more of like a 42, I believe, millimeter. The profile is, I believe, a 56. And then I believe the Evil Alloy here is also a 56. So if you are looking at your handlebars and when you put these stems on, if you want to make your bike longer or bigger, get a longer stem, 56, 58 millimeter stem versus a 48, 42, because you can see this is where my handlebars would be on the GT stem, and this is where they would be on this profile stem. So that pushes you could look, that pushes my hands out a distance, and that will dramatically change the feel of my bike. So when you're looking at stems, look at the reach, and the bigger the number, the farther out your handlebars are going to be from that fork, this part of the fork here.
moving down to the front fork, this is a Chromoly 4130 SX250 Pro fork with the disc brake adapter. This is just a cable pull disc brake because I had it sitting around the house. And the Profile Elite front hub, because it does have the disc adapter, so that's why I'm running that on the front. This gives me the ability to do flatland tricks, and I absolutely love that. I do have a POTS mod, an old school 80s POTS mod. It's just a hollow stem bolt here that I got from Shane from BMX Ultra from Richter Titanium, and I've never heard of that brand. He said he's had it for years and he sent it to me so I can run a POTS mod. Shout out to him and Australia as a country in general. So last but not least, we got the TNT M80 hoops. I love these hoops because they don't bend. Most of the other ones I've had have bent on me, so I'm not a big fan of those. So the M80s have been tried and true for me for the last couple of years. I haven't tacoed them doing flatland. And then these are some old pegs. These are old Primo pegs. I get a lot of questions about these. These are old mid-school Primo pegs. They were in a box somewhere and just like, oh yeah, let me throw those on there. So they're old aluminum pegs. They've been around forever. So we'll round this out with, you will feel a lot of pressure to upgrade your BMX bike from stock. Do not feel like it's something you need to do. It's not something you have to do. Ride your bike, wear out your parts, and get what you need.